that we dealt with, you know, just not that long ago. It seems like a couple lifetimes ago, but it really was just 4 years ago. Myself and my daughter were the only two exposed faced people in all of LAX, all of Denver International, all of SeaTac. We were traveling a lot, and at that time it was mandatory, but it was not a law. And so in my experience, I am going to follow the law. But the problem with that is statutes and codes are not law. So I've met policies, exactly. I've met a lot of resistance in the last 5 years since I learned, because I didn't know the difference between mandatory and law until I was forced to cover my airway against my will, and then forced to do the same to my daughter. We talked about a deoxygenated, you know, internal environment and what that does to the body. So I knew that I was not going to limit my air intake because someone said it was mandatory. So that created a lot of friction, but I was there for it. And it turned out that there was a time in my life where I was the only person with an only man, not a person, only man with an exposed airway among a sea of thousands of people at these airports. And it really changed my life. And now, so if I can share too, I do this whole like driving versus traveling thing, and it's created a lot of controversy in my life. But my driving privileges, and I've got the paperwork from the Oregon, state of Oregon DMV, that says my driving privileges are suspended until 2045. So, and I was just talking with somebody today.
All right, you're not driving.
Well,
So
I'm
it's
not
fine.
driving anyway, so
That's
that's fine. I don't need that privilege because I have a
Exactly.
right. I have a right to travel.
That's
It,
it.
well, so but also tried to convince that to the officers who want to do extortion through coercion, and they force us to voluntarily comply. I
Right.
don't do that. I
Especially
tell
in a small town where they know
I
you.
tell them straight up, I'm not going to comply,
Um,
and I do not consent.
yeah.
Well, that throws them off. They don't, there's no script for that. They don't train them for that. So the other thing too, they say, well, you're under arrest. I say, I don't consent to the arrest. Show me what, for what crime?
Mhm.
What, who's the injured party? Because the state of Oregon cannot be an injured party. It's an idea. It's a what. State of Oregon is a what, not a who. So
Mhm.
who claims that I damaged them?
Mhm.
Nobody. And so it's like these ideas are scary for a lot of people because they're not normal, and people don't like that civil disobedience, so they say I'm disrespectful, except for I call them sir. Excuse me, sir, I don't consent. I don't, you know, I'm as respectful as I can be to tyrants.
Yeah.
You know, just like when we were shopping in your neighborhood market, that bully that you knew personally ran. He didn't want to even be in the same room as me because he knew that he met his match.
Mhm.
And those type of you know, beta males generally are the ones that carry a badge and a gun,
Right.
because they otherwise they don't have any control or authority over men and women. And I really don't want to go like super far down this rabbit hole, but I do want to know your thoughts on authority, because the root of authority is author. And I know that the word kangen in Japanese means return to origin, but like you mentioned, return to source. And that which is in me is that which is in you. I'm a living spirit inside of a man called Dave. So who is my source? Who is my authority? Is my author? We control that which we create, and you're creating something incredible for yourself. And I know I am too, in collaboration with the creator, prime creator. We're co-creating. And do you take any of this into consideration while going about your day, operating your business through entrepreneurship? How do you apply these ideas to your life, if you do?
Absolutely. One of the biggest scams that just oozes through our society and culture is this hyper independence, not interdependence, but that we can do it all on our own. We're disconnected, we're detached, and we're withering away without connection, love, and support. When we come together, as is our design, we are connection-based species. Connection is our number one most important need. When I go through a breakup, I don't want food, I don't eat because it's not important. Connection was more important than that. That's the only thing I care about. And this divisive, controlling behavior to keep us separate has killed our spirit. And that, again, is why it's so important to have community, tribe, people who love you, support you, value you, want to see you grow, want to hold you in an elevated state and give you a path to improve, to get better, to exist in joy and excitement and opportunity and optimism. And I believe these experiences that you and I both have with tyrants and these authoritarians, they have tried to break it all apart. We literally were commanded to be physically distanced from one another when we know that hugs increases our dopamine, our oxytocin, all of the love, the feels, the happiness, the peace, it brings us back to a space of love connection, which brings us closer to God. And that can happen in so many different ways through various different types of relationships, but where you feel truly valued, seen, intimacy, see into me, see, which I've always felt so seen by you and so supported by you. These are the people that we need to lock arms with. And I love your saying, Dave. I love it so much. Rising tide raises all ships together.
Yeah, and sometimes we're the tide, but most times we're the ship. And
Yeah.
really, we have to think about that. And when we have an opportunity to be a rising tide for others,
Mhm.
we shouldn't say no. We should do what we can to pour into others, especially when we're overflowing with living waters. Why wouldn't we share what we have? So thank
You
you.
have another beautiful saying about a candle that always speaks to my heart because I am a candle. But what is it? One candle can light a
A
thousand.
thousand. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
sure. And
And
that's just sometimes what we're here for, is to just be that candle. And then but the world really, and I mean, I can talk personally about when I was growing up, a very insecure man who didn't love himself. He was dehydrated and
yeah.
acidic. Who He saw my light, and his mission was to dim that light,
Mhm.
but he couldn't put it out. He could just dim it. And now, through all of this that I've done, I feel like I'm able to shine much brighter than I ever did before. So thank you for contributing with your light to help
Mhm.
brighten up my light, because really it takes one candle to light a thousand. And that's so true. Thank you for reminding me about that.
Mhm.
I do have, so I want, this is great. We could probably talk for 4 hours straight without taking any breaks, but I know that I want this to be digestible for others. So this is a very valuable conversation that we're having, because I mean, I don't feel like these types of talks are common, and they should be. We should be able to talk openly. And you mentioned love and gratitude, but
Mhm.
authenticity is the highest vibration, probably 400 times stronger than love, and most of us are ashamed. I wear a hat because I've been wearing a hat my whole life, but when I take it off, I realize that, like, on this side, my hair's disappearing. So it's like,
I
what
have it too.
happened?
I have it too. I'm turning 42 next month.
But also, I don't do the bangs like you do. So I do the Savannah banana hat, and everybody, they recognize the Savannah bananas, but this is like a flag on my ship. And I used to wear the Yankees until I started to learn about some hidden truths and conspiracies around the evil empire called the Yankees. So I say, okay, well, for now, I'm going to wear the Savannah bananas because they're bringing a different message. They're for the fans.
Yeah.
They really put the fans first. And if I'm going to support anybody, it's going to be somebody who supports the people,
Yeah.
and that's like you and me. And I think so. But the thing that I want to know is, I mean, I know you love helping people, but is there anything in particular besides caring about connection, caring
Mhm.
about your food and your water? But basically, my question is, how do you, um, create multiple streams of income, right? Because this is one stream of income, and the food is another stream of income, and a heart to heart hug is another stream of income. So that's three streams of income. What
Mhm.
other streams of income do you focus on, and how are you able to create all of these multiple streams of income? I'm not trying to get to know your like your super personal business, but just help others understand how important it is to have multiple streams of income.
Yeah, diversification I find to be so crucial because then we're not relying on just one thing. And there isn't just one way to make money and to create wealth. There's so many. And I think it's really important to find out what it is a need to solve, what kind of need there is that we can solve for. And there are many. And then what truly brings us the most excitement and joy. And every day we can ask that question many times throughout the day and always find the thing that brings more joy and excitement. So recently, in fact, the last 2 or 3 years, I thought I need to be a business owner and buy some type of service-based business. And this is kind of the industry I'm in, is selling coaching for this. And it was like, okay, I'm analyzing painting companies and HVAC companies and all of these things that are going to make me so wealthy, but yet I'm feeling so much internal resistance towards this. Why isn't this working? And why do I feel like this is the way and this is the path for me? And it just really hit me like a brick wall that I'm not in alignment with these things, right? I'm not truly in alignment with these things. This doesn't fulfill my heart and soul. I know more about myself at this stage in life to not limit myself or reduce myself to doing something that doesn't light me up. I have so many powerful gifts and I have so much love for myself and humanity. So that's when I started taking a course on human design and a course on astrocartography, learning astrology. And these are going to be offerings that I have at some point that I can deliver to people that help them find their authenticity and understand who they are, release shame that they may be carrying around. Why am I like this? And fulfill in the gifts that they do have and what offering they have that can be truly authentic and give that to others. So that's something I'm so passionate about, is helping people see deeper into themselves. And so now I'm going in that path, in that direction, feeling so fulfilled, feeling so excited. I can't wait to share this stuff. I'm studying my butt off trying to learn all of these things and then figuring out how to present it in a way that can be consumed in a loving, way that is very receptive for people. And the water has been such a wonderful opportunity for me to do that, to build connections and tribe and to share wealth and health and these other routes and ways that I can do that. It's just an expansion of that.
Well, I want to read something to you because I came upon this today, and nothing happens for no reason. So when I saw it, I knew that it was for us, for this conversation to have. And you've just created the perfect intro for this. So I'm just going to read this real quick. It's for projectors. It's by Human Design,
Yeah.
and it talks about sobriety.
Yep. Yep.
So it says, as a projector, and I found this today at 1:02 p.m. is when I took the screenshot. So it says sobriety may feel hard because it puts you face to face with the ache of not being seen. That loneliness that lives under the surface, the rejection you've carried in silence and without the vice. Social situations might feel unbearable, like you need a buffer, a social lubricant just to be tolerated. Wow, that part hit deep. So it continues to say, the substance may feel like the invitation you weren't given,
Yeah.
but without the blur, your guidance shines sharper, and the world finally sees the brilliance you were designed to share.
Mm.
This was meant for me. Like the synchronicity involved with me finding this today, just a few hours before we were scheduled to meet. Nothing happens for no reason, and I have felt like I needed the buffer. I felt like in order for me to be, and this was probably part of the deception, was in order for me to be my most authentic self, I needed help.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize, I mean, I knew in the back of my mind because I had a goal to do this before my son was born. And when I didn't accomplish that goal, I felt like a failure. I cried.
Mhm.
And then I wanted to do it before he turned one.
Mhm.
Didn't. And so
Mhm.
it's like, all right, well, that shame and that pain pushed me to actually do it. And
Yeah.
then now here I am only 1 month in, but still, I've never really been able to say that for 20 years, 20-year long relationship that I've had that I thought was beneficial for me. Turns out probably wasn't. And then
Yeah.
this comes across my screen right before I'm about to meet with you. And now you're talking about all this.
Yeah.
Nothing happens for no reason.
So
So,
as far as to interrupt, as far as synchronicities go, you're hitting one because in our human design course this month, September, the entire focus is sobriety. And we literally were on a call 2 days ago talking about sobriety, our vices, and how human design is. Our design is to make decisions from the body, not from the thinking brain. Human design is based off astrology, the tree of life, the I Ching, the chakra system, and how our body doesn't know how to make decisions and align with the right people if it's got all of this filler and all of it, if it's just fighting to stay alive, just like when it's dehydrated, and how sobriety puts us in our true alignment and gives us that clarity to live the life that we deserve. So yeah, the whole sobriety thing, that's been a big talk. I myself, I think I stopped smoking weed maybe 9 months ago after smoking my entire life. And it's been about 9 months that I've smoked. I don't smoke anything anymore. And it feels phenomenal, to not have to rely on that. And that wasn't serving me anyways. It was just, it's a habit, it's a filler, it's a turning down the water hose, right? And here we
well,
are
yeah,
showing.
I often describe that I had trouble fitting into my own body.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that's one of the reasons why I would felt like that was necessary for me to regulate or even co-regulate, right? Because I wasn't regulating on my own, I was co-regulating. And now I'm starting to realize that it was probably, seriously slowing me down and holding me back. And who knows what opportunities I've missed, or just I don't want to think about that because now things are changing. So I want to be more positive about the future and the present moment.
Yeah.
But
I'm
it
so proud of you. I'm really happy for you. Those are big life decisions. It's difficult and you have to deal with what comes up, which is all of the trauma that we have stored, our shadows and the things that we don't always want to face. And when that comes up, now you're stronger and more powerful to help others, especially those closest to you, your son, your family, your daughter. So I'm really, really proud of you. That's the work.
Well, thank you, but that's also part of the reason why I requested your presence because I don't have very many people who understand, or at least have the articulation to help, or the experience or just any various number of things. And I knew that you would know,
Yeah.
so I'm grateful for your friendship. And that's the thing about entrepreneurship. I say a rising tide lifts all ships. So there's friendship, there's stewardship, there's entrepreneurship, there's kingdomship,
Um,
there's guardianship. We're guardians of our water, and most of us are not doing a very good job at any of this stuff. Stewardship, none of it. Relationships, it's
mm,
been difficult for a lot of people. But what if changing your water is, one of the major things that you can do to change the direction of all of these ships, right? Like a fleet of ships. And I'm a ship captain and a CEO of all of them in my own personal life, and it sounds like you are too. So we want to try to create more captains
mhm.
of for each individual person, man and woman's ship, and that just could be a relationship with self. You mentioned shadow.
Mhm.
There's we have to have a relationship with our shadow self,
Yeah.
and most of us don't. We close that door, we lock it with the deadbolt, and we don't acknowledge that shadow. And we have to integrate the shadow and not let ourselves be controlled by that part of ourself.
Mhm.
So what comes to mind right now when you think about shadow work? And then I have a sort of another question. I might as well say it now because when we talk about chakras and we talk about the tree of life and just different things, the Kabbalah is new age, occult,
Mhm.
not so much in alignment with Christianity.
Mhm.
But also, I don't claim to be a Christian. I claim to be a citizen of heaven and a resident of earth, only here temporarily to do business. And having this conversation is part of that business.
Mhm.
So if someone were to say, "Oh, that's new age," and I don't follow that cult, those cult practices or occult practices, what might you say in response with love and kindness and compassion? How would you respond?
I think that's just innately who we are and where we came from and what we will return to. And the shadow is what comes up for us. I'm not saying anything there's, in my opinion, nothing negative to say about the shadow. The shadow brings a protector part that wants to help keep us safe. And that's why I believe there is no self-sabotage. It doesn't exist. We will never try to sabotage ourselves ever. We are only ever trying and attempting to bring ourselves back to love and connection. Which brings up another point with the fibromyalgia thing. What they told women, primarily women back then, was it's your body attacking yourself. And our body is never, ever attempting to attack itself. It is always striving to heal itself. But we have a responsibility to give it what it needs, which is the source of where we came from, water, to give it what it needs to thrive and exist so it can continue to protect us, to heal us, just like our shadow or our protector parts. A part of me that may have caused some inner child wounding that leaves me in fear of relationships. I could be avoidant or dismissive, or I can be anxious towards relationships. That's the protector part that says, stay safe. Stay safe. That's scary. That has caused some pain in the past. Let's stay safe. So rather, instead of suppressing that shadow or the protector part, like you said, Dave, bringing it closer towards integration, loving on that part of ourselves, the part where we feel shame, the part where we feel grief and where we feel sadness and regret and resentment towards self is the part that deserves all of the love. And when we bring that closer, that's the integration, right? Has this part met this part? Can they shake hands? Can they hug? Can this part understand why the protector part is doing what it's doing? Can they dance? Can they come together and really help me with true alignment? And when I have that self-compassion, that integration, when my shadow is brought to the surface and I can love on it so deep with all of my whole heart, then how much can I emanate and give towards others? And that's why when we talk about bringing authenticity to people and how crucial that truly is, it's because without authenticity, that's a struggle. We have to know thyself, to love thyself, to then emanate and bring that closer and to build a tribe, create the tribe, the ripple effect and beyond, and to have, more of that love from God as well. So that's just such a beautiful topic.
Well, and it reminds me too of like the ego is also a protection mechanism
Oh,
that we have. But then I talk a lot about cancer and tumors are also a protection mechanism that we
yes.
and then the doctors and the Western medicine, they go in and they disrupt that protection, they break that shield, that barrier, and then it destroys the immune system. What the body was intending to do in the first place was protect us, and then these medical people, they go in and they break that bond,
Yeah.
so.
Well, and it's our entire belief system should be questioned, and the narrative always in so many different ways, just like the belief system around how being sick is so bad and wrong, and I don't ever want to get sick. Without being sick, my body wouldn't be able to detox and cleanse with other beings. We can do that together in a group. What a gift it is that being near somebody who's detoxing, that my body's like, oh, me too, let's do that. I'll come back stronger, I'll be healthier, let's do this. It's going towards the pain, just like with healing the trauma and releasing the shadow and bringing it to the surface. It's releasing the pain. It's the detox, which is also what calming water will do for you is help detox the things that are not serving you, the stagnant energy. It's not just physical, it's energetic as well. It clears the way, just like sickness. Thank God we have sickness.
Well, please talk about the body mind connection and what you know, because we actually have a customer, one of our most recent Kangen water people who purchased a machine for their home wants to return it because within the first 3 days, her kidneys were so painful. She wanted to go to the ER and then she stopped drinking the water and now she quote unquote feels perfect again. But when I was doing the installation, I felt the spirit of fear tremendous. And I even told my business partner, I said there's a lot of fear that we're going to have to deal with. And then she didn't inform us of what she was going through only until it was time for her to return her product and said this isn't for me. And so then I reminded my partner, I said Chinese medicine proves that we store fear in our kidneys. And so it's not a shock to me that she's explaining this to me because I have learned about the body mind connection. Is there anything you can expand on that?
Everything is connected, just eternally and infinitely, right? But especially that body mind connection. And I think a lot of the thoughts that we think manifest, a lot of illness, the fears that we keep locked in and keep ourselves, completely constricted is what truly holds us back from living the life that we deserve. And so those fears, if we let them overwhelm us, then it's like we don't truly get to live that life that we deserve. So
And our body still has to detox from that cortisol, stress hormone. All of that stuff is going to create, problems for us too. So fear, I said, stands for face everything and rise, or forget everything and run. And
yeah,
I told my partner, I said, now we know which one. Forget everything and
yeah,
run, because that she wanted to just run away as fast as she could. And there's other people on my team who have that same spirit of fear, except for they've chosen to face everything and rise.
yeah.
And they've persevered, they've pushed through, some hurdles and some roadblocks, and it's because they feel the benefit, they know that they're on the right path, and this is part of the detox process.
Yeah, and fear really does get locked in ourselves, and what we tell ourselves and what we believe to be true is we are so powerful, right? We're constantly manifesting, and ourselves believe that. Like I believe that you could eat a whole chocolate cake, and if you do not believe that it actually will harm you, that it won't.
Right. I say that too. It's not what we eat, it's how we feel about what we eat.
Yeah, yeah. So like the saying, this isn't mine, I got it from somebody else, but a happy hamburger is better than a sad salad.
Oh wow. I've never heard that, but
Yeah, yeah,
I'm gonna put that somewhere in the juice bar, I think.
yeah,
'Cause
yeah,
that's true. You're right. There's guilt and shame sometimes attached. And I think that's why I wanted to separate myself from that crutch that I've been using for so
exactly.
long, because it was so heavily attached to shame that I couldn't digest all of it anymore. It was too much.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. And when it gets too heavy, we're not always led towards what we want, but sometimes we're led by the thing that we don't want, that we're still consuming and still allowing in our lives. And that can be a bigger motivator for people sometimes. So I'm glad for you it got to the point where you're like, energetically, I can't even consume this anymore because of what's coming up for me.
Well, and I knew in the back of my mind, I knew that I was ready, but just, like I said, it was a 20-year long relationship, and so just like with a girlfriend or something, and it's like there's a familiarity, there's a routine, there's just so much involved that how can I walk away and then never speak to her again? It's tough.
Well, it was there for you when you needed it many times. I used to smoke cigarettes and I went through a healing with it where I gave so much gratitude. This was years ago, I quit, but like gave so much gratitude towards it because it was there. It was my friend. I needed connection so bad when I didn't have connection. I got to rely on that thing and that thing was there for me. And so there again, gratitude to the thing, which releases the guilt and shame around the thing because that served me. So we can love and let go, and we do all do it in our own time. And I certainly hope this woman that you're helping sees the light and her ability to actually heal through this resource. Because man.
Well, and it's true because in response to her message, I was very I wanted to be compassionate. I did a very thoughtful response. I didn't just respond quickly. I took some time to sit with what she was saying, and I offered her sessions in the sound therapy with the vibration and the light therapy, and I wish that maybe this is a good thing for her because it's going to create a new awareness.
Yeah.
And she was under the impression that maybe the water was dangerous or her machine was malfunctioning, but really I think that in at some point in time this is going to be a learning experience, and and maybe that's all that it was ever supposed to be, and we had to go through this in order for that thing to happen. So I say nothing happens for no reason, and honestly I say it probably 100 times a day, and that helps me stay grounded in the present moment and just say and be grateful and say thank you. I don't lose, I either win or learn. That's it, period.
Yeah, and that's a frequency, as you know, everything energy and frequency, right? And some turn the channel of the station and they're not quite there and they flip it right back around, and that's okay too. But we're never the same person we were. So like you said, nothing happens for no reason. And it's elevated you in some ways and her and me also just through her scenario and identifying fear through her experience.
Well, I do know that you're in the future 3 hours ahead of me, so it's getting kind of late for you, and I do want to wrap this up. But one last thing, I just want to know from your heart and based on everything that what call to action do you have for anybody that you know or anybody that I know that might be have if you've made it this far, you're one of the MVPs, seriously, because we've touched on a lot of fringe ideas and topics and things. So if you're listening to this right now, what is a call to action for anybody who might be inspired by this conversation? What's your final message?
Yeah, I think a shift, right? We talk about frequency, energy, mindset shifts. Um, Sometimes, all the time, we glean from others. We learn so much by the people that we're surrounded by, and putting yourself in groups, in community, in connection with others. If you feel drawn in a person, direction, place, thing, there's some reason that that has been presented to you. It wouldn't be otherwise, and to explore that and how that can apply to you and other people also in your field, and how that can really make an impact on your life is so crucial. It really is. Opportunities don't come across our desk for no reason, and whether we take advantage of those opportunities or let them pass us by can affect the entire outcome of our lives. And fear and limiting beliefs, I think, is a dream killer. And it's the most difficult thing about trying to help people, when we let that overwhelm us and we don't allow for the shift to take place, because each new day can be an opportunity to be a completely different person and to step into a whole different vibration and frequency of our life, our opportunities of living in that excitement and that joy that we should be experiencing every single day, as is our design, to get every single day closer to God, closer to self, closer to love. And these opportunities come across our desk because we were aligned with that, you know. And so here we
Well,
are.
I've often heard that 15 minutes with the right person can completely change your life. And most people don't have a coach, like it's true. They just don't. And that's one of the best ways to fast track your success is to get a coach, find someone
Always,
who is in alignment with you and your goals and your vision, and then just go for it. Run. To take
always.
take the leap and grow your wings on the way down is one of the best pieces of advice I can give to most people, especially if they resonate, or if they find a coach that is in alignment and actually cares about you. Like if I were to work with you, I know that I can benefit from these types of conversations. We might have a once a month Zoom with like a master class with other like-minded people, and the notes that I would be able to take away from that, I would give me exponential growth, and
Yeah.
that's what we want to do. That's why we're here today, because teamwork makes the dream work, but I say team together, everyone achieves more. And if that's not true, then I'm just going to quit right now, because there's nothing's true, because really it is about teamwork, and we're building teams. I have a team. and they are each individually building their own team. So
Mhm.
talk about ripple effects. We're looking to make tidal waves,
Yeah.
and it's possible with this business that we've partnered with Enagic and the Kangen Water Company, but also, I people say mind your business, Dave. I say trust me, I am every day. I'm mining my business like I'm mining for gold. And the thing about that is during the gold rush, who do you think made more, who benefited or prospered more? The people who were mining for gold or the ones who were selling the shovels and the pickaxes and the hard hats?
Mhm.
Tools
Yeah.
necessary to find that abundance
Yeah.
is probably more valuable than the abundance itself, because
Mhm.
those tools you can't, no one can take them away from you. Once you know, you can't unknow.
Right.
And that's where we're at right now. We're in this state of knowing what we have to do. And now our goal is to just find others who want to do what we're doing.
Yeah, yeah, it's a process, a system, a path of duplicating what somebody else has already done, and creating our own, adding our own creativity and making it our own, is such a beautiful gift. Anybody who's ever been part of any kind of community or the coaching program or network group, they will, if it's a good group, they will always say that was the most important, valuable thing. It's worth its weight in gold. It's the gift that keeps on giving. And I can say that from groups I was part of 10 years ago that are still bringing opportunities my way. And still I can reach out to and glean from them their leadership, mentorship, guidance, and support. It's beautiful. And then given an opportunity with real, like, applicable, practical strategies towards increased wealth, connection, health. Like, I mean, there's no risk in that. You can only achieve more, in all of the ways that matter to you. And it's just, and Magic has changed my life. It's changed my life, that of my friends, that of my families. It's given me a path, and it's improved my health, my awareness, my consciousness.
Your dad still comes in here from time to time, and he'll
Yeah.
order a smoothie, and I will say, "What do you want?" He said, "I don't care. Everything's good. Whatever you make is good." And he leaves with it in his hand. He's like a cute little kid sucking on his little smoothie, and he always he says, "Really good." And so it's always great to see him, but also he travels down, from the 26, 27 miles away to come
Yeah.
here and just share this experience. And I think about Captain Julius all the time too, of course. So we still have a couple copies of his book here left. And then I can't think of you without thinking of him. And I can't see your dad, of course, without thinking of him. And it's been really great to know multiple generations of amazing Kaufmans.
Yeah.
And I really am grateful for this conversation. I'm going to close it up just because I want people to digest this and enjoy and experience, what we've shared. But this was for me and for you. And
No.
anybody else who benefits, if it's just a small handful of people, then that's what happens. So thank you for your shining, bright, beautiful light. And I can tell that it's gotten a little darker in where you're
Yeah.
at, because you've brightened up a little bit too. But um just I can't thank you enough. I really I needed this coaching call.
Yeah.
That's what it was for me. So
Your friendship means so much to me, and literally, Kangen water was the reason that we even know each other. I went to your shop in search of the water. I know you because of that, and you have literally changed my life in ways that I cannot even describe. Like the value that you've added, and just knowing you and being connected to you. So
yeah,
even just that in and of itself, outside of the thousands of dollars I've made with this company and the help that it's provided, even just that is infinitely more valuable than I could have ever asked for.
well, I always wear this sweatshirt too, says Got Kongan. I always
Yeah.
want to be like a walking billboard, because people will see that and they'll say, "What is that?" And it's like, you don't know about that? Everybody I know knows about it. But yeah, just thank you. I'm gonna stop the recording, and if anybody resonates with this conversation and they want to get to know you, do you have permission for anybody to add you on social media
Yeah,
or
yeah, yeah. I'm the water
connect
fairy.
with you?
It's Kandle Lee, so it's Kandlee, my first and middle name, and it'll come up and say the water fairy. Please add me there. And any questions at all, I'm more than happy to be a lighthouse.
Because I do know right off bat, all of my inner circle, they're going to watch this, and most of those people watch all the way to the end. I should have had you say this information in the beginning, but um, it's for whoever it's for, right? Quantum entanglement will find the right people.
That's
Thank you
it.
very much. I'm just going to go ahead and stop the recording right